These young people are studying in a new way. Class in spelling. It might as well be arithmetic or algebra or grammar or in fact anything involving the use of words or symbols. Each student is using a teaching machine, a device which creates vastly improved conditions for effective study. What are teaching machines? How are they used? What can they teach? Who prepares the material they teach? And how does this material differ from textbooks, lectures, and educational television? What impact will machine teaching have on school organization?
Recent research suggests many teachers tend to use mobile technologies by defaulting to traditional teaching practices, not unlike the approaches underpinning the teaching machines just shown. There is evidence that mobile devices are currently used mainly in formal classroom settings with an emphasis on teacher-directed approaches and content delivery, as depicted in this mashup video.
These young people are studying in a new way. Class in spelling. It might as well be arithmetic or algebra or grammar or in fact anything involving the use of words or symbols. Each student is using a teaching machine, a device which creates vastly improved conditions for effective study. What are teaching machines? How are they used? What can they teach? Who prepares the material they teach? And how does this material differ from textbooks, lectures, and educational television? What impact will machine teaching have on school organization?
If more disruptive pedagogies are to be adopted by teachers making use of mobile devices, tomorrow's teachers need to better understand how to design mobile learning experiences that genuinely exploit the unique affordances of mobile technologies. In this video case, we look at pre-service primary or elementary school teachers at an Australian university developing their understanding of mobile learning principles and pedagogies, or learning about, as distinct from with, mobile learning. We then examine their activities using the mobile pedagogy framework. In her literature review in 2014, Barron identified two categories of mobile learning practices in teacher education: teacher training about and with mobile learning. Teacher education about mobile learning involves student teachers learning how to integrate mobile devices into their own prospective school teaching. For example, developing their understanding of how mobile devices and associated educational applications or apps can leverage opportunities for more contextualised, personalised learning for children. The pre-service teachers in this video case are studying a foundational educational technology subject designed to push boundaries with the new digital pedagogies. Two of their lecturers, Dr. Damien Ma and Annie Agnew, describe the importance of this component of the subject that focuses on their learning about mobile learning.
It is an undergraduate subject to second year students, and that part of that subject is that they go out to do their professional experience placement in schools, focusing around the use of technology. And one of the probably the biggest change that's coming to schools in the last 3 or so years has been the introduction of mobile technologies, both through schools who purchase their own technologies and also schools that adopt BYOD approach. So it's become a really important part of how students learn, and we've introduced it into that subject to support students to think through how to use particular apps, but importantly how, I guess, they work pedagogically with students in using this particular technology.
It is about our modelling, our exposing them to lots and lots of ideas, to going beyond what they've seen themselves both in their own education, because some of them, all of them, most of them are, literally just out of school, to give them more opportunities to think outside, I don't want to say the square, but to think outside what they know, and to be exposed to lots of opportunities of using the technologies in our room, even if it's only short moments, because at least then they've thought more about it.
A key preliminary on-campus session is devoted to the analysis of education apps for children. the pre-service teachers bring an app to campus that they perceive as innovative and could be used by school children to support their learning in a discipline area.
What we did last week with our students is invited them to find an app that was that used the mobile affordance of their phone. Most students use a phone, and got them into groups so that they then went through a learning scenario with the other students in a group and talked about how it might support learning, and then they came back in the classroom and shared how they use the apps. And I thought, actually, for me, it was a good session. There was a lot of really interesting apps that students found, new apps that I didn't know of, but also there were some questions that other students were asking. So a lot of it, I think, is about raising awareness for the students, and that can be done through sharing in these sessions.
Yeah.
In the context of prospective primary elementary teacher education, Annie emphasised the importance of student teachers becoming aware of transformational learning opportunities.
In spite of the potential, at the moment, a lot of the apps are not being used in a way, or the devices are not being used in a way that is necessarily transformational. And yet, if we equip our students with the ability to go out of the classroom or use the apps differently and see them as a different way of teaching and learning, that might be where the difference will lie.
After sharing the reasons for choosing their app, the pre-service teachers then evaluate and critique their app using the IPAC app evaluation rubric. Rather than focus on technical attributes or curriculum-related aspects, items on this rubric help the student teachers to probe the potential pedagogic value of an app, drawing on the IPAC framework. An additional item on the rubric requires the student teachers to use Goodwin and Highfield's 2012 system to give a broad classification of the app. Drawing on these types of introductory stimulus activities or experiences, the student teachers then examine the IPAC framework to consider distinctive mobile pedagogies, checking their developing understanding of the three constructs and sub-constructs. These preliminary activities feed into a main assignment that has taken two forms in recent years: a school lesson or task design and an ideas video design. In the lesson design assignment, the pre-service teachers design a mobile learning task for school children, presented as an ebook. They are required to design this task for their upcoming school practicum, adopting at least one of the three signature mobile pedagogies from the IPAC framework that best support their intended learning outcomes. A recent sample is shown here. In the ideas video assignment, the pre-service teachers use further research to design a short, informative video promoting mobile learning. These ideas videos, or iVideos, are similar to mini advertisements and are described by Wong et al. 2007 as short 2-minute digital videos designed to evoke powerful experiences about educative ideas. A recent sample is shown here. We can use our Mobile Pedagogical Framework, or IPAC, to examine these student-teachers' activities. In particular, we will focus on the personalisation dimension. Although pre-service teachers are learning about mobile learning in the activities presented in this video case, there is also mobile technology-based mediation of their professional learning or learning with mobile devices. The dimension of personalisation is particularly evident in these experiences. In all of these activities, student teachers chose and customised their own apps for note-taking, reflection and sharing ideas with peers. For example, they chose and used their own apps for reflecting on their school-based lessons, tasks on their professional experience for filming themselves as self-feedback during their lesson task implementations, for giving and receiving feedback on their iVideos or lesson task designs, and for taking notes in and outside of campus-based classes. When designing and constructing their ebooks or iVideos, including the media capture and editing processes, they chose several apps and tailored them to their own needs and purposes. In what Stevenson and Hedberg 2016 coined app smashing. During and certainly beyond their formal scheduled class, they also enjoyed a reasonable level of autonomy over where and when they used their mobile devices for these design-based activities, often choosing to cross boundaries between campus-based breakout spaces and less formal spaces on and beyond the campus, or what Shook, Carney and Burden 2016 have called the third space learning. In this way, there was a high degree of agency and ownership over their activities, enhanced by the use of their own mobile devices.